So acha nipitie nione, ndio ule hana karamu tumsaidie na karamu, na kama hana karamu anaweza fanya kwa simu. Ya mama huyo unamsaidia, mnafanya pamoja, si ndio? Mmekaa ujirani unamsaidia. Okay, very good. Let me see how well we are doing. Let me see how well you're doing. If you have 3, you've named 3 parts or more, raise your hand. You have 3 or more? 3 or more. You have 3, 4, 5, okay? Very good. If you have 4 or more? Very good. We are doing well. 5 or more? Very good. 6 or more? 6 or more? Now you're not Kenyans. The Kenyan average is 8. In South Sudan, they give 3 because they speak Arabic most of the time. I'm sure you know they speak Arabic. In Zanzibar, they give me 4 because they speak Swahili all the time. Kenyan average is 8. Zambian average is 10. And in Ghana, they give me 12. Can we work together? Very good. So it's the ear. Are we there? And the eye. Very good. I hear a lot of S's. And the jaw. And the lip? Yes. And the gum? The gum. You know the one holding your teeth. Those are already 5. Na tujatoka kwa kichwa. Okay, then we can come to the arm. Very good. Yeah. And we have the rib. In fact, men have fewer. Okay. And we have the teeth. Both of us have 2 teeth, T-I-T. Yeah. Isn't it? Yes. Okay. And we have the gut. Yes. And we have the abs, the muscle on your chest. We call it the abs, ABS. Yes. And we have the hip. And we have the lap, LAP. That's why you call this small machine a laptop, isn't it? Because it's on the lap. And you have your leg. Yes. And you have a toe. And I'm sure you're sitting on the bum, BUM. Now let's count how many they are this far. 15. Let's clap for ourselves. We've done a good job. That clap is too soft. Let's clap for ourselves. And that's the moral of the discussion this afternoon. Is there something there that is new? Kuna kitu umeona hujaiona? Hakuna? Hizo vitu zote tunajua, isn't it? So, like it says very clearly in the Bible, nothing new will happen. Just the things that we know. But when we look at things closer together, we can actually see deeper detail. And it is on that basis that we'll have our discussion today. So now we are happy we can be able to go on. I am told we have family here, we have brothers, we have sisters. Bishop, does that look like your audience? I guess the picture would look like them somehow. Yes. Now, and so we'll be looking at stewardship of personal and family finances. And sometimes I like asking, kuna mtu hapa kwa hii room anapenda pesa? Inua mkono kama mimi kama unapenda pesa. Bishop, you can see your people. Yes. And they are right, they are not wrong. Hakuna mtu atakwambia you're wrong. You're very right. So we are going to look at stewardship, because when we are talking about stewardship, we are saying we've been charged to take responsibility of something that is not ours. One day we'll be held accountable. So, and there are so many things God has given us accountability for, and we are going to look at those things God has asked us to be accountable. You have been given the responsibility to take care of your body. Your body is the shelter of the Holy Spirit. And so you take care of your body. You take care of the children that God has placed in your way. And if you actually read, I think it is 1 Timothy 5 and chapter 5 and verse 8, says you must take care of those in your household. And if you don't take care of them, you cannot say you are a person of faith. In fact, in some fashion says you're worse than a kafir. So God has actually told you, you must take care. And that is stewardship. And we'll be held accountable for that stewardship. We will be held accountable for the environment. when we dirtify the environment and the country gets dry as it is because we are cutting all the trees, we're being held accountable for that. So I think that's where the discussion is going to be, but I'm jumping the gun. Let me introduce myself. My name is Wahome Ngari, and I love the Lord. He has saved me. He has kept me well. He reminds me every other day that if it were not for him, I would not be alive and I would not be able to do anything well. So I love the Lord. I fellowship at PCA, Rodesho Community Church, in the western side of this country, where my wife actually serves as a church elder. And I'm happy I have family here with me. I have my children. Muko wapi? Oh yeah, I have my children here behind. Yes, I have Abigail is our last born. She's an architect. Kama unataka kucholewa nyumba, kama tujatoka, ongea naye kidogo. Nixon is our second born, and he's an expert in digital marketing. So that's what they do. They are adults, they are working, but we are happy that God has given us responsibility over them. So that's what who I am. I have served many roles in my church, especially in men fellowship. So if you see me not walking very straight, I want you to excuse me because yesterday I walked for 18 kilometers. I climbed Kilimambogo, up and down, and I'm still walking straight. Sindio? Because this body must be taken care of. And sometimes we want young men, hii maneno ya kuendaga na duthi kutoka hapa kwenda stage, we want to drop it. So we got the young men to walk up and down. And you can only get them to walk up and down by a good example. And we challenged them because we were able to do it well within 1.5 hours, and the majority of them could not make it. So I want to encourage you. Ukiona ni kilimpu kidogo usiseme huyo mzee namna gani. It is the muscles are still reminding me about that, isn't it? On a day-to-day basis, I've had the fortune of working in the financial services industry all my adult life. And 14 years ago, I formed our own company called Citadel Consulting, and we've been consulting in the East African region for the financial services. We work with banks, cooperatives, microfinance, and we do work for them in training, talent search, and consultancy. And 7 years ago, I formed another company called the Personal Finance Academy because I realized they teach us everything in school and not money. And the things we know about money, if you're never taught by your parents, you have learned it in the University of Life. But a majority of us in the College of Hard Knocks. You know where you lose your money, then you learn a lesson, isn't it? Yes, that's where we learn a lot of things. So we formed that company, and I thank God that we've been there. Because people have billed me, I was taught, Bishop, the concept of tithing time. And I offer my 1 hour every week for free to train people. And I got a platform with Radio Omini. It's a Catholic radio, but it's a Christian radio. So on Tuesday in the morning between 8 and 9, I actually give lessons on financial matters, depending on what the issue is, debt, budgeting, investments, all those things. If people have anything, they raise it. And if you want to hear what we discuss, you're most welcome to go to our YouTube channel. It's called the Personal Finance Academy Kenya. February has been the month of love, and we've just discussed money and love. Because money and love tend to meet in marriage. And if they are not managed well, sometimes it goes south, isn't it? And God wants it not to go south. So that's what we've been discussing. Sometimes we get opportunity on your mainstream media as a subject expert in personal finance. And I think last week I was on Family TV just giving a talk about that. And in the course of time, I've been challenged by my friends and my students, and I've been asked to put these things in writing. And I have a book, and I think I have Nixon has a copy or two there. So I'll tell you how you can get a copy. We've been able to put sort of a guide of managing family finances together. Every morning when I wake up, sometimes I remember that statement. Peter, you want to read that for all of us?
Quote of the day: the only person who will take care of the older person you will be is the younger person you are now.
Thank you. Is that true of each one of us? Do you think when you get older, there will be somebody else to take care of you? Serikali? Eh? Serikali sana. They will help you a lot. I can warn you. They are giving you 2,000. Ukifika 70, we choose kama ni airtime ama ni chakula. They are not likely to help you a lot, isn't it? So, and that is why for the younger people, we need to be careful. We need to do good stewardship so that we can actually be able to get there. And so I want to say welcome to the discussion. And like I said earlier, God has made us stewards of the world. And there are very, very many things that he has given us. And he has endowed us, and he's given us a command. Go and conquer the world. Eat from the blow of your sweat. These are clear instructions, isn't it? And I know in Psalms 24, it's very clear. God made everything and he found it beautiful. So we are stewards. And because we are stewards, we'll be held accountable for the stewardship. And I said, there are many things that we are stewards. And one of the things that we are stewards is money. And I know for a lot of us, Bishop, that is either the money we have or the money we are looking for. Is that the money you have or you're looking for? We say it is a class. You know, when Bishop is preaching, you don't ask questions. Me, you can ask me questions. Ile ni ile pesa tunayo, tunatafuta ama ni ile tumeipata? Tunaitafuta? Tunayo. Wengine tunayo, wengine tunafanya nini? Tunaitafuta. Yeah. And I think I want to reassure you, God does not want us to be poor. That's why he gives us a formula of how to make sure that we get the resources and we manage them well. None of the friends of God was poor. Was Abraham a poor guy? Isaac, Jacob, Lot, King David, King Solomon, and I can go on the whole day, isn't it? Yes. So he has given us the formula. It is our responsibility to work on the formula. Now, and when we talk about money, there are people who perpetuate some thinking that money is evil. And I know Bishop will tell you here, money is not evil. You can't show us 1,000 shillings and show us where the devil is. It is what we do with money. I think it's the children there. If somebody can take care of them. Now, what is evil around money is not money. It's what we do to get it or what we do when we have it. And we must admit money is hard. But if you read your good Bible, the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 10 and verse 19, it is very clear. Money answers everything. Money is the answer for all the things you're looking for most of the things that you need to do. In fact, money is protection. That's what God is going to provide for us. But money is hard because it is not taught in school. And this afternoon, I want to give you maybe just 4 secrets around money. 4 characteristics of money that most people don't master. And because they don't master, they always find wao na pesa hawakai pamoja. Number 1, money loves movement. Money hates to stay in one place. And if you are doubting me, hebu weka giri moja hapa kwa mfuko, Monday morning, uone kama itarudi nyumbani. For some reason, wherever you go, money looks to move. And when you have money, money is always looking for somewhere to move. But you need to understand that movement. That movement is even biblical. Those who have little, that little will be taken away and given to those who have more. And if you are doubting, that's how life is. Here in Umoja, I know you are supplied water by Nairobi Water, true? And you buy it in units. And a unit is 1,000 liters. And if it's most expensive, it will be 100 shillings per unit. That literally means you buy water for 10 cents per liter. There must be a poor neighborhood here. Wapi Gishegi hapa? Soweto, yes, on the near industrial side. Do you know those people don't get water from Nairobi Water? They buy it from people with donkey carts and boozers, 20 liters for 20 shillings. So they pay 1 shilling per liter. Are they not paying 10 times more than you? Do you know they buy paraffin 10 times more than you? Mafuta ya kupikia 10 times more than you? That's the way society is structured. And somebody has actually found a nice way of even picking the little money people have in society if they don't understand the movement. And I want you to check who is the person involved in gambling. Who is the person putting in 20 shillings, 30 shillings? And who is the person receiving those? And if you're doubting, I'll tell you, sometime 2020, 2 European football teams were having a game. For those of you who know football, Manchester United and PSG. And there was betting in this country. And the biggest people were betting that Manchester United would win. And that night on all the Kenyan platforms, they actually bet 970 million shillings. Kuekelea, 970. And Man U lost, PSG won. So the payouts were just 50 million. Tell me how much these other guys retain, the guys who have the money. So it is important to understand that secret. And we are going to talk about it as we go on. Secret number 2 about money, I've told you it allows motion. Secret number 2 about money is that money is very personal. Money is very personal. It's that one subject that people find it very difficult to talk about. Even those of us who are married, I don't think this is one subject we discussed in courtship. I know Bishop does a good job. He does premarital counseling, and he tells us how communication is to work. But in this area, Bishop, we defy you. We go and we don't discuss. So a lot of times, nobody knows who is earning what. Nobody knows who's doing what with money. And it's gotten worse in our country that there are people who do not know family assets. We buy a plot, we build on it, and we don't disclose it to our spouse. And when we are not there, our children cannot even benefit. Money is such personal that when we have problems around money, we don't know who to talk to. If you have spiritual challenges, it's easier to come to his office in the morning. If you have a medical condition, you go see the doctor. If you have a legal problem, you go and see the lawyer. When you have money problems, who do you see? Can you see where the challenge is? Because it is very personal. Money is very physical. That's the other secret. It's physical. We can see it. We can tell who has it and who doesn't have it. And that's where the problems of debts come from. Because I want people to see I have it when I don't have it. So I would rather use other people's money. You know, Peter, I'm told jokes by young men. I deal with young men a lot. And they tell me, the only way a girl will tell a man has no money, they always look at his shoe. Kiatu ikichapa, huyo jamaa afanya nini? Ni mistari tu, hana kitu. But how do you tell the girl is also amesota? Do you know, Peter, what they've told me? Tunaangaliaga nywele. Ukiona growth imejaa, ujue pesa? But money is physical. When you have it, we will see you have it. We see where you live. We see where you send the children to school, how you dress. And that's where the traps, money traps come in. And I'm going to talk to you about a couple of money traps because money is very physical. So we said it allows motion, it is private, it is personal, but money is emotional. That's the other characteristic most people don't understand about money. Money is very emotional. And think about it this way. When you have money, what are the feelings? Good? Excited? Happy? Generous? Hey, sometimes we even become proud, eh? Sindio? Hey, we feel good about us. Tunaendaga kifua mbele, isn't it? The day we don't have. Sick. What else? Hungry. Uoga nayo. It is the same person. In the morning you had money, you are feeling good. In the afternoon, imekuishia, you are feeling. Money is very emotional. In fact, for a lot of us, almost all the money we make is because of the emotions it gives us. Because money will give me the power to do what I want. It gives me choice. I can send my children to school A or school B. I can live in house A or house B, isn't it? Because it is that emotional. And that is where a lot of traps are set. And we want to look at those traps when we are looking at the responsibility. I think that was a good way to do the introduction so that now you can understand this is the journey we are all going to go. God has divided our life into 3 phases. The first phase is called childhood. You have all the time. In fact, parents have to baptize it, sleeping time, playing time. Then you go to school, they call it timetable. But you don't have money, but you have energy. Have you seen the way watoto hupenda kucheza? They wake up at midnight kucheza. And you're wondering, tutalala lini? Isn't it? Now, at the stage where most of us are, time ni shida. Hey, time hata ya kuja hii seminar ni shida. We are chasing deadlines and timelines. There are so many things that needs to be done. But we have a bit of energy and we have a bit of money. When we get old, we will have a lot of time. Every day when you wake up, no deadlines, no timetable. Wewe ndio kuset agenda all the time. Okay? And so we will not have the energy. It's true. You've seen older people, they don't have a lot of energy, isn't it? Okay? And that's why we need to have a bit of money. And this journey, as we go it looks different at different times. Wanaume wako hapa. Men in the house, hebu jitafute unajiona. Ladies, you can also look at the men in your life. Unaona pale? Peter, so umeona pale ulitoka, na pale uko, na pale wewe hujafika huyo jamaa wa Azimio, bado uko njiani. Si ndio? Okay? Now, the message is, in every of these stages, there are money issues that needs to be addressed. And if they are not addressed at that point, they will have to be addressed in days to come. Or the ladies are saying I left them out. I'm very gender sensitive, so let me bring in the ladies. Tuko hapo. Tumejiona. Kuna watu wana kabag kadogo, kuna watu wana kubwa kubwa. Kuna watu, si tunajiona penye tuko na penye tutaenda. Si hata nyinyi mnajua there were things we were doing there, now we don't do them. Kuna siku ya kuingia chama na kuna siku si ya kuingia chama, isn't it? Now, let's take a moment and walk through those steps one at a time, slowly, and we see what the money issues are. When you're below 10, these are the gifts from God. They have no money, they have no work. Who is supposed to feed them? The parents and the guardians. God gives them one gift. It is called pester power. Pester power. They will pester you until you get it done. When they are too young, they will cry. It's your business to find out why they are crying. When they get a bit bigger, they do winning, they throw a tantrum for you to do that. And they will get things done. I am sure when you get home, the children have one nice question. Umeniletea nini? And you can't you can't give your child a stone. See, that's what we've been told, isn't it? Yeah, that power is very, very important. We need to take care of them. This is what Paul is talking about when he's writing to Timothy. That for these ones, we need to provide their health care, their food, their medicare, their education. We must look for the resources. If you have these people in your life, you must always remember, protect your income. Because when you don't have income, they will still come, they're still expecting from you. And protecting your income is two things, investments and insurance. Very, very important. And God grants them life, and they grow, they ask all the questions, and as time goes on, they get bigger. Don't they get to that stage? Now, when they get to that stage, it's a stage of transition. The one in primary has gone to secondary, the one in secondary has gone to college. You have taken them through the rite of passage. Their hormones have changed. The young man has a broken voice. The small girl now has hips, and she's got a bust, isn't it, to talk about? And they have come to high school, and they've come to college. But do they have money of their own? Who are they going to depend on? The parents. And here it gets expensive because this is where they're in high school. From high school, they go to college. And the journey continues because even when they go to college, now they got into another stage. We call it young, free, and single. And I can see wengine tumetoka hapa juzi, wengine tujatoka. You know that stage in college? Days in college, searching for the first job, getting the job, moving out. After you move out, you got to do things like rent and stuff like that. Then sometimes you realize you go back to school, and along the way you see somebody, you say, I like them. Then like moves into love. Na unamletea wazazi. And something strange happens. Because you thought wazazi watasema endeni mukae tu, mko sawa. They start telling you lazima tuende kwa in-laws. Kwa kina Peter. Tukienda kwa kina Peter lazima tujibichunge vile tumekuja Peter. So we must come with something. By the time we are done kwenda kwenyu na nyinyi kuja kwetu, how much money are we talking? How much money are we talking? That dowry process. Can these young people afford that? So who's supposed to afford? In the culture of our people, it's the parents, isn't it? Yes. And eventually, we tell them they must come to bishop. They need a wedding. Who is going to finance the wedding? The parents. Okay? And now along the way, God is gracious. Maybe now they move out, they get a baby, and they find themselves in another level. It's called the expansion phase of life. That's when the babies start coming. Baby 1, baby 2, we move to a bigger house, we change jobs. Have you seen that's how things happen? Now we need more money Because now we can't live in a smaller house. We need a place for the house help. We need a bigger house because mother-in-law will come visiting. Ama hizo vitu hakunaga hapa. Can you see there's more demand for money? Now the only interesting thing is the demands are more than the money we have. We have more things we want to do because our capacity to earn has not totally peaked. And a lot of times here, we tend to change jobs. We tend to look for something different to do. We go back to school, and life continues on. So we find ourselves getting into the next decade, and that's the decade we call the 40s. When you get into the 40s, this is heavy lifting. Hapa kazi ni mingi sana. You have responsibilities in society. You are the chairman of this. You are sitting in this board. You know, where are your children? They're in high school and they're in college. The fees are higher. You need a house to live on. Maybe this is the time you're owning your own house. So there are many things that needs to be done. And this is where you have to work together. If you don't work together, you mutakuja kwa bishop kumwambia vile mambo imekuwa kali. Because everybody has their own mind, everybody has their own different way, and a lot of people here end up making very radical decisions. They might even leave the country. They might even leave each other. It is critical if you have a family, this is not time to leave each other. This is the time to cleave. This is the time to stay together. This is time to go on our knees. This is the time to eat from the blow of our sweat. This is where investments are important. Because there are so many things. Aging parents, this is when your parents are aging, isn't it? And you've got to take care of them. You have responsibilities in society. And you know, now you're aging. It's at this point now you understand retirement. Before then, you could not understand. You know why? The guys who you found when you took up your job, they have retired. So you also understand there's something called retirement. And Bishop, allow me to say this. This is the most corrupt age in Kenya. You know why? They think the time is gone and they've not made it. So whatever happens, happens. They got to do it. But those ones are not in your church, Bishop. I say it Kenya. Na uko si hapa. Hapa watu si corrupt. Hapa watu ni wazuri kabisa, isn't it? And as you can see, the journey continues. It's called the empty net. Watoto, boarding. From boarding, hostel. From hostel, where do they go? See, they go on their own. So you have the empty nest. This is where now we must be able to come together. And this is what we call pre-retirement. And we end up here in very different shapes. There's somebody who's always been single and they're single. There's somebody who's always been single, they have children. There are people who are married and they're together. There are people who have had a misfortune. The spouse has died, they're widowed. There are people who face divorce. This is where we end up with very, very different shades. But when we are ending at this point, now we have people to support. We have children we are supporting, although they are not living with us. It's called financial outpatient. If they don't have money to pay rent, utawalipia. You will not ask them to come back. Ama Peter unaweza ambia warudi. Hawezi rudi, unawasaidia wakiwa huko. That's called financial outpatient. Na hawezi kukuita useme msiniite. Kwani ni watoto wa nani? See, they are still your children. You still have to take care of them, big or small as they are. That's where you do financial outpatient. Now you are focusing on the next step. If you're a teacher, you know the way they send you your pay slip. Na hapo nyuma wameandika umri wako ni, they are reminding you need to go to the next level, isn't it? Even if you are running your own business, you're realizing hii maneno ya kuamka asubuhi sitaki. So you're looking at the next thing. What's the next thing? And Bishop, this is when your members run away, they end up in the village. Wanatokaga Nairobi, wanarudi kijijini, si ndio? Yes. And you have very many people to support, by the way. Not only your own family, in the society, in the community, where you are a leader, and you find them, when Bishop is running programs here and there are people who need support, you have to come through for him. We have healthier concerns. Even if you want to hide, age is showing. We are trying anti-aging cream, lakini hizo bado zinatokea, isn't it? So you know, men, tunaenda kwa kinyosi, tunaweka rangi yote, lakini white hair is still showing. And then the body is slowing down. And if we are not working now for the employer, we are not on their medical scheme. We are on our own. And it becomes important for us. That's why when we are younger, we need to take care. That's why we want to climb mountains and do all the other things so that we can take a lot of care. When we get to the 60s and above, we still love each other. Has love been lost? Okay? But now when we are at that point, our ability to make money is gone. You can't wake up and say, I'm looking for a job. Even if you own the business, you don't have that much energy to make the money. So the money here is coming from the investments, and the investments is the work we did in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. That's when it was a season for us to do our investments. So that's what we are able to do at that point. Now, we are very busy on the road. And I'll tell you, ladies, this is where you come in. Ule msichana wako aliolewa Western Kenya, si utaenda kumuona? Na ule wa London, tuseme kweli, ule wa London na amekuzaa, unaenda 6 months, si ndio? Wazee tutabaki wapi? Hadi wapi? Nyumbani. Nani atatupikia? Tutajisort. Wazee tujisort mapema. Afadhali tunue kale kaplot kananyuki, tutaenda kuchunga ng'ombe kidogo, isn't it? Because these guys are going to travel. You cannot fit in your sons-in-law house for more than a day. These people are lucky. They can stay there for 6 months. And then anatoka ule wa UK and anaenda ule wa Canada. Mwaka unaisha. Isn't it? Yeah, they are always moving here and there. So it is important for us to jipange mapema, eh? Okay? We are thinking ahead. This is the time you must hand over the baton. If you are running a business, who is going to run it for you? If you own a company, if you own an investment, fungua roho. Tell people vitu ziko wapi. Wacha kufunga roho. This is the time to tell people what you want. Speak your mind. Don't leave confusion when you are gone. Unajua bishop mnampatia headache. Hata ajui anzie wapi. While we have the ability to speak our mind, to commit and say, this is what we want. I want you to go and run this business. I want you to go and run this. It becomes important for us to make sure that we are able to think ahead. Now, we are citadel of experience. We are very experienced. And if you want to age in honor, spend your time now nurturing the next generation. Bishop should not be handling all family disputes. You should be able to handle it where you live. You have the experience. You can counsel other people. You can coach other people. Be available. If you can afford to write it, write it. If you can afford to pitch in a group here in church and actively participate, you have so much knowledge, so much experience from yourself. Somebody else will need to use that experience, so make sure that you are available to be able to do that. And so because of that, we have to look for the money. That is where we were told to be productive and to obviously have dominion. And we have 4 different ways of looking for this money. You can be an employee, and that's a legitimate way of looking for money. And if you're an employee, you want to work and get the maximum you can. And don't moonlight, don't work partially for your employer if your employer is paying you full-time. Bishop has taught us very well, thou shall not bear false witness. Kwa nini unahang jacket kwa ofisi unatoka unaenda? Are you not bearing false witness? Are you a true Christian? Are you showing the right? When you go to work. That's how you're going to get your promotion. Build yourself. If you are in self-employment, do the best you can in that space. And if you're employed, ka weekend, make sure you're self-employed. Tafuta kitu ya kufanya. Kenya speak, we call it side hustle. Get yourself something where to do. And if you have the resources to put up a system, get other people to work for you. Create jobs. Buy that small Uber. Hire a younger man. Wacha akimbie. You created a job and you're making money for yourself. So this is how we're going to do. And we become investors. Let the money work for me. Join the circle. You get a dividend. Buy shares. You get something. Make sure the money is working for you. So there are very many areas of investment. We don't have the time today, but that's where the money is going to come from. But let me tell you when you make the money. This is the problem. Every month kuna mtu anatafuta hiyo pesa yako. Who takes your money? Na unapata ingine wanakuja. Ukipata ingine wanakuja. Who are these people? Always taking your money. Najua mmoja ni landlord, si ni kweli? Mwingine ni mama mboga. Na nani mwingine? Nairobi Water, Kenya Power, Safaricom. Tax. Yeah. Now, as long as you leave, somebody will ask you to give them your money. So can we make it easier for us and agree who is going to take your money? Because your responsibility is to make sure everybody just gets their share and not more. So in life, you have 7 steady cashiers who are going to collect money for you. Please write them down. Cashier number 1 is the kingdom of God. And never forget, here there is nothing to forget. We must bring in our tithes. We must bring in our offerings. We must bring in our alms. This is the Lent season. This is the season for giving in. Any given season, as long as you have income, you must invest in the kingdom of God. And I will not do a lot because I know Bishop is good at that. Atatufunza hiyo. Because you cannot be paying to other kingdoms and not the kingdom of God. That's the first cashier in your life. Na hata ikikuwa kidogo, isikue kidogo ya sa God. Ya sa God iletwe. Wacha kumwambia hata yeye aliona. Yake ufanye nini? Number 2, the taxman. You must pay to Caesar what is Caesar's. We must pay our taxes. Kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. I'm not campaigning for KRA. I'm in the spirit. Paul ametuandikia. In fact, if you go to Romans, is it 7 or 8? 7 and 8. It is very clear. We must pay our taxes. Wacha kuhepa na taxes. We need to pay as you earn. We need to pay VAT. Whatever taxes are payable, we must pay. So that number 3, we can pay the cashier called lifestyle maintenance. Lifestyle maintenance. Paying for your cost of living, paying your rent, buying your food, buying your clothing, buying your water, buying your airtime, paying for your transport. All those things, you are only going to live once. Young people say YOLO. You only live once. You need to live well. So you cannot be living in a mtaro hoping one day you'll have the money to live well. Who told you there is tomorrow? You remember that rich poor fool? He said there was tomorrow. Ati nitajaza kwa gara langu. Alafu mimi nitapumzika nikule kila siku. Live today. Are we there? Cashier number 4. Cashier number 4. It is your relations, those who are close to you. Who is close to you? Your children and your spouse. Si tumetoka month of love. Ulikumbuka kumununulia gift? Very good. But you know our children, this is what Timothy is being told. We must provide for those in our household. We must pay their school fees, their medical care, their food and everything. Pesa imeisha ama bado iko? Imeisha wapi? Iliishia wapi? Hapana, iwezi ishia kwa lifestyle because you cannot go and entertain yourself and not buy the toys for the children. It doesn't work. You are going to find a revolt at home. Utapata maandamano kwako nyumbani. Isn't it? That's why I said kazi yako ni nini? Balance, 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 balance. Na kama ijaisha, situongezee another cashier, number 5. Anaitwa community. Kwani ukiitwa bridal shower hautaenda? Na ukiitwa rorasho? Na mtu akiwa unwell and we need to raise medical, na ule alikufa, we need to participate. We are part of the community, and I know here within the church we have structures for that. And you cannot be the one not appearing when we need people to appear. So you must put in something in the community. I know watu wanasema imeisha. Ijaisha. Cashier number 6. Cashier number 6. Personal development. You must develop yourself. You must do something to develop yourself. That's something I don't know what it is. For some people will buy a book. For some people will go back to college. For some people will go to the salon. For some people will go for sauna, will go for holiday. You must make sure that you're feeling good about yourself. Lazima ujipigie nini? Shukrani. Isn't it? Kujipigia pole, hapana ni shukrani si pole. Isn't it? You must do something to make yourself better for tomorrow. And I know even here in church, Bishop has programs, including Bible study. Because if you understand the Bible better, you are a better Christian. Isn't it? Yes. So we must get into those programs. To key to a seminar, you must come. You are improving yourself. We are looking for leaders in this church. We're looking what to kufanya worship. You must come and learn how to play the keyboard, to play the drums. We are not going to evangelize the world when we are not good. We must be very good, very sharp. If it means to know another language, if it means to know how to drive, we must invest in that cashier. Pesa imeisha. Cashier number 7. Cashier number 7 is called tomorrow. We have tomorrow. We have faith in tomorrow. So tomorrow says we must have savings and investments. We must put some money in the chama, and some in the circle, and some in insurance, and some in our business. Your biggest responsibility all the time is to make sure no cashier is getting the money of the other cashier. There is balance. Are we agreeable? Kazi yako ni kuhakikisha kuna nini? Kuna balance. Usikule ya kesho leo. Because kesho is still going to come. I know, as even I'm saying those things, I know the reality of life when it is end month, na umeenda bank, kinaumandaka namna hiyo, eh? If we imagine the people waiting for you, paka sometimes you wonder, why did I have to go to the bank? Sinigewatuma. Wajishughulie. Isn't it? Okay? But I'm saying, even with all those situations, the reality is we must be stewards. We must be more professional. We must be better in managing so that everybody gets their share. And I want to spend a moment or so looking at that part of the stewardship and what we are going to do. And why are we doing that? You know, in this country, we have had leadership looking into the future. And they told us about Vision 2030. A middle-income economy where the citizens have a good quality of life. And they're actually doing their part. If you lived in this city for long, was outing dual rights before. Isn't it better the way it is? Isn't it? Now we have other roads, isn't it? So they are doing many different things. But at a personal level, there are 5 things they will leave you to do on your own. We call them the big 5. When I say the big 5, people think of animals. These are the animals that are very difficult to hunt on foot in Africa, but that's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about big budget things that you must fix. I do not see in my lifetime the Kenyan government giving you a house. Am I right or am I wrong? Do you see it in your lifetime? Atutapewa key. There are countries where people get given key. If you are from Emirates in Dubai and you get married, unapewa kifunguo. You open the house and bring in the bride. Na unapewa 3 million ya kumu-entertain. Lakini sisi sio Dubai, sisi tuko hapa. But now the challenge with the home ownership is, if you don't have a home, you will pay rent. And you know, averagely, we leave our parents when we are 25. So if God grants you life and you become 95 and you don't have a house, how many years are there to pay rent? 70. Is it a joke? No. So this is something we have to think about. This is why we are going to join the circle. And we are going to join Bomayangu. If you've never heard about Bomayangu, go and find out what Bomayangu is. This is why you're going to think about something called Nyumbayangu. Find out what those things are. Because if this is not sorted out, this will give us trouble because rents will continue to go up. They are not coming down. And we must live and live well. So that's one of the big ones that we need to sort out as a family so that then we don't. Now the next one is these guys, and I see them around. What's the name of the beautiful, is it a girl? What's her name? Can somebody, sorry? Nowadays they've got nice names, eh? Sisi na Bishop age yetu, tuna struggle na hizi majina. Okay? Yeah, mom, how old is she? 9 months. And you know, God is gracious. She's got a future and a bright future. When she becomes an adult like me and you, what would you want her to be if it were within your powers? Okay, career-wise. Give me a career. I know you look at her and you wish in your prayers. Doctor, very good. And we need a lot of doctors, isn't it? Because there are a lot of sickness. Where would you want her to study? To study medicine. Where? Yeah. Which abroad? Abroad ni mingi kutoka Dubai kwenda London. Leo ni maswali mingi kama polisi. Usijali, I know we are focusing on you, lakini usijali. Yeah? US, very good. So if you want her to go to the US, she can go to Harvard. Eh? It's a great university, isn't it? And they train doctors. Very good. Now, I wanted to demonstrate how expensive that is going to be, but she's able, she can do it. Because there's God in. And God is not forsaking his servants here on earth. Isn't it? Yes, it is going to be, because Madam, I'll tell you, today in Harvard, she can do medicine. The only thing in Harvard, she can't do medicine as a first degree. She must come with another degree to be admitted for medicine. The price of tuition in Harvard now is $60,000 1 year. So if he, 6 million, isn't it? Or thereabout. So if she studies medicine for 5 years, that's like 30 million. But they still got in. It is possible to become a what? But it is an expensive exercise. Na serikali haitatusaidia. Are we agreed? Yes. And we have an option kutosomesha watoto. We have no option. We must be able to go there, isn't it? And so that's why it is one of the big five. It's an expensive one that we must be able to deal with. So, can I ask you, keep their dreams alive. Don't kill their dreams. Whatever they tell you, let it not be because you didn't have the money. There are many mechanisms you can save slowly, slowly. Where is my friend Nicholas? Nicholas, are you here? Yes, where's Mama? This guy, he's here in charge. Maybe hajiongelelei, wacha nimuongelelei. He's a specialist in that area. He can help you to know how much you need to save every month. Ndio hiyo pesa yote ifanye nini? Ipatikane. Weka. Nimekupigia, nimekuongelelea kidogo. Because I know resources are here. Sio lazima tuende tutafute watu kule. The people are where? Here. So don't kill their dream. Let it not be that one day they cannot be what they want to be because you don't have the resources. But as we do that, God is gracious. Time is passing. One day we see that signboard, and I can guarantee you the day you see that signboard, hakunaga njia ingine, lazima ufuate hiyo. And you know, you're joking. People say, me, I will not retire. Kampuni ni yako, wamekuandikia management report. Unapewa, unaweka hapo hauoni, unaweka hapo hauoni, unaweka hapo. Don't you see yourself retiring? Watu wengine, that's not your problem. You can see. Lakini ukipewa karamu, sign check. Mkono ndio inatetemeka. You must resign. But retirement is expensive. Can I prove to you how expensive retirement can be? Think for a moment. How much money do you spend per day to feed yourself? Wewe peke yako, wachana na familia. Average. All the meals you do, you buy. Average, 300, 400, 500, 1,000? 500. Very good. We work with 500. So, sir, you have your phone nearby? Yes. You have the phone? Good. I want you to multiply 500 by 365 days in a year. Uone kutoka last year mpaka hapa umekula pesa ngapi? Wewe peke yako na hujasaidiwa. Umekula ngapi? 182,500. Hiyo ni plot ya wapi? Ya Kangudo Road. Umekula imeisha, na watu wengi hata tujaongeza weight. Tuko tu pale. Sa God akikupatia life, ufike maybe 65, 70 or retire. I know he's going to add you more years. He has said clearly, I'll give you life until utosheke hii dunia, isn't it? So ukitoka 65 akupeleke 95. How many years are those? See, those are 30 years. Si to multiply hiyo number na 30. Ama kuna mwaka hutakula? 5.4 million. Ya nini? Ya kukula. Si ndio? Na unajua uliambia mtu aingie box, akaingia box. So multiply by 2. Ukikula mnakula pamoja. Multiply by 2, sir. 10 million. Na shida unakula 500, unawekea daktari 100. Multiply by 2. Sasa tutaachia hapo. Because nikiweka inflation, watu wataanza kutoka waende. Because if you think about inflation now, 30 years from now, can you imagine what was the price of bread 30 years ago? Wale walikuwa tunaishi Umoja mpaka 30 years ago. Na si zamani, 30 years is not a long time ago. Uhuru amekaa 10, Kibaki alikaa 10, hiyo ni 20. Na ile 10 ingine ya Moi ya mwisho. That's 30 years. Inflation has gone up maybe what, 10 or 20 times? So if you multiply your number, now you are going to see what will happen. And I can tell you for free, I don't see us in our lifetime depending on government. And I can tell you, you are not going to depend on your children. Hata tukimtuma, my sister, tukimtuma aende Harvard asome medicine, si anaweza decide achukue job na huko, ama apendane na ule marasta wa Jamaica? Tutafanya nini? Si hata wakikuja hapa tutawabrace tu. Bas. So we need to organize ourselves, we need to have the investments to be able to deal with that, and we are going to deal with the team we have. And occasionally it's good for us to be taking a break. Pastor, najua unapelekaga watu seminar, lakini sasa tunataka watu wazoee kuendaka na family once in a while, because we work too hard. And there is a time, Peter, when we need to go and see just with our family. Tukae na wao, tusikize watoto wetu. You know, in my language they say, lazima uangalie mbapua na masikio uone ni yako. So maneno ya DNA uachane. And that happens when you go for holiday. And that is why we want to manage our incomes together. We want to manage our incomes together. We want to do what it takes for us to have this money together. Sorry. This is where there's a lot of leakage based on the research in this country. Pesa ya familia nyingi, they leak at this point. Tunasemaka hatuna, lakini the way we do shopping, pesa inafanya nini? If we actually manage this together, we are going to succeed. And let me tell you one of the places where this money is leaking very hard. Oh, sorry. Watu wa screen, imeenda juu. Can you see it there now? Yes. Impulse buying. You just see, you like, you buy. You had no idea, you had not thought about it. And I can be honest, most of the things we buy like that, we do not need them. They have no value, they have low quality, we don't even use them. My sisters, tukubaliane. Iye kiatu tunanunua town, bei ya jioni. Si tunaijua? Na tuko we had not thought about it, lakini tumeiona. Si mnajua pale barabarani? Na tunainunua. Then we come home with it. We thought itafit na ile outfit ingine. Then when we bring it home, you know, for some reason it changes color. Town ilikuwa inakaa mzuri. Ukilala nyumbani ina change. Wacha nikusaidie. Town kuna neon lights. Kwako hakuna neon lights. That's why it changes. Si kiatu imechange, ni light imechange. Now it cannot fit the outfit ile ulikuwa unatakia. Unafanyaka nini nayo? Unaiweka. Kuna siku utanunua ingine? Kuna siku utanunua hiyo outfit? There are so many things that we actually buy when we don't need them. If you have your children na munapitia mitaani, what do hawkers do? Silikupatia vivitu. They keep giving them. The only question you can ask, nitalipa pesa ngapi? And by the way, ikifika nyumbani ishaharibiwa. This is one area we need to talk to ourselves. If this is where you're getting a problem, let me assist you. Get into the habit of having a shopping list. Think before you go to shop. Think what you need. And I want to challenge you. If you've seen a dress and it really looks like yours, but you hadn't thought about it, where enda pale ulikuwa unaenda? Ukifika huko ukumbuke, you come and buy it. You'll be surprised hakuna siku utarudi. Because you never meant. That's one of the places where we have big leakage. The other place where we have big leakage is comparison shopping. Don't buy from the shop. You've seen something fast. Go and buy a car in the showyard. Na salesman anakungojeka kwa mlango. Unataka gari gani? Na hii ina nini? Na hii zimebakia 2. Na moja imefanya nini? Imeuzwa. Hii ingine uweke deposit. Na hata zile zinakuja sio mzuri kama hii. Wewe nunua. Why does the salesperson want you to buy in a hurry? Because when you buy in a hurry, you don't think a lot of things. You don't think pricing. I'm trained in marketing. I'm a chartered marketer. And one of the things I learned in college is something called buyer psychology. And one of the things you do, make the buyer think about scarcity. Hizi vitu si nyingi, ikiisha imeisha. Give me your 1,000 houses to sell for you, and I'll show you what we do. The first thing is we do a signboard, tunaandika 80% sold, hata kama tujauza moja. Because we want to create scarcity. When people buy in scarcity, they don't think prices, they just do what? Buy. Na ndio hoka hawekagi vitu zote, zinawekagwa chini. Si ndio? Unaona hizo sweta ni ngapi? ni mbili. Usiponunua utapata, ukinunua ingine inaletwa inawekwa. That's how it works. You get caught up in those things, then you waste. For those of us who lived in Nairobi, do you know a place called Moi Avenue in town? This side of the street, if you go and buy a dress, it is 10,000. Just cross that street, come to the other side. Same dress, same design, 3,000. Where are you buying your things? Take time, compare. Hey, wazee, sisi ndi to plot. Unajua zile za Maina Kageni za Nanyuki? Hata tujai kuziona, lakini tunanunua, tukifika sometimes ziliuzwa na resedi, hata hazikuwako. Take our time, let's not be fooled. Compare shops, and you're going to make a lot of family savings. Are we there? Now, the other thing that I want you to know when we are shopping, when I was in high school, and I know a lot of us here went to school those days when there was boarding school. Na time ikifunguka unaenda nyumbani unasema nataka, then you are told write down those things. And if you had a father like mine, zingine anachora line. Hii unataka sukari ya nini? Kwani mnajipikia? Out. Si ndio? Because if you go to the supermarket, and if you learn a supermarket uzinipiga na mawe, just telling people the truth, and you go for milk and bread, where do they keep it? Why not keep it pale kwa mlango ununue uende? Why do they keep it huko? Au upite ukiona ndio ufanye nini? Buy one get one free. Na hakuna kitu ya free. Mnadhania hakuna kitu ya free? Utalipia tu, si ndio? And they know, ladies, they know you. Nyinyi you are attracted by color. When they are advertising on sale, what colors do they use? Very bright colors, isn't it? So that they can catch you. This guy is a color bright, so they don't use color. So they do something different. Bishop hapa utatusamehe, but they put beautiful looking ladies. Na najua kichwa yetu ni ile tu, tunataka kuangalia. So the only way ya kuangalia ni kushop kidogo. Hapa ndio upate nafasi ya kutano, uangalie, alafu fanya nini? We get caught up in all those marketing traps. As long as you're going around, you're going to see things you don't need. Before you leave your house, can you make sure you have a shopping list? You are very clear what you need before you come. Mistake number one, you buy things you have in the house. Umeenda kununua bale ya tissue na una ingine. Kwa nini unataka kustock tissue kwa nyumba? Unanunua detergents. And sometimes kuna watu tunaishi nao, they actually notice we don't know what we have and what we don't have. Zingine wanachika, wanauza. Ama wanashika, wanapewa airtime. And this is not a joke, serious. We had a house help, Wairimu and Gitai can tell you. She opened a small kiosk with her boyfriend. Natu kujua. Because mumias munanunua munaweka, nani upika, si ndiye? Sabuni ya kuoga munanunua munaweka, nani utumia, si ndiye? Yeah. And we did never know she had a shop until she was fired for something different. And somebody asked my wife, kwani mulifunga duka? Sasa duka gani? Sikulikuwa na duka pale, msichana anatoka saa 4 mpaka saa 10. Can you imagine? Are we good stewards? Is that being good stewards, really? No. And then we changed the rules now. We say, before we go shopping, we must write something down. And I actually became the expert of pushing the trolley. Kama kitu haiko kwa shopping list, haiwezi anguka kwa trolley. Na ukiweka kwa trolley, utalipa. And you see, these guys now they know how to do shopping, isn't it? Very, very important. Otherwise, you will buy things you don't need, and you become wasteful, and the family money will actually just dissipate and disappear. So very, very important for us to consider that, so that we are going to be deliberate in the things that we do. We live in a very good country where we have friends, we have family, and sometimes we want to do what our friends are doing. Wakipeleka watoto group of schools, na sisi tunafanya nini? Tunawapeleka. Wakienda holiday, and everybody seems to have ideas what you should do. Everybody has ideas. Ati mulipeleka watoto hiyo shule. Kwani mko serious? Watoto wanapelekwa group of schools. They are being serious. You work very hard, you actually buy yourself a small car. And your friends are saying, "Ai, nani yu alinunua kadudu?" How do they call your car kadudu? They are putting you on unnecessary pressure. You have a nice phone. Na mtu anakuambia na hiyo mkebe ni ya nani? You know? People always seem to have a way of putting pressure. Eh? Sometimes you go and see parents, and the things they are talking to you is like, you are moving slowly. We want you to move pastor. How do you deal with all these things? When you go to the chama, my sisters, I know you angalia nyumba ya mtu vile imepambwa, and when the chama comes to your place, you want to come to that level. How do you deal with that? Set your goals. Have focus what you want to do. They will talk anyway. Ukifanya na usipofanya bado watafanya nini? Wataongea. So you set your goals so that you can be able to achieve what you want, what you have to achieve. Oh, I did not deal with pesta power. Hiyo niliruka eh? Si nirudi hapo. Hii ni ile ya watoto. Si tuliagana watoto wamepewa zawadi na Mungu. They push you, they cry, they whine, throw a tantrum so that you buy something. And when you go to the supermarket, where do they keep kiddie stuff? Vitu zao zinawekwa huko juu ama hapa watajishukulia? Pale watajishukulia. So kijana wako ndio huyo amechukua toy car. Na hata code amwezi pata. By the way, sasa ile mtaona hiyo car is 10,000. Na unamwambia baba usifanye aibu dogo, nitafanya nini? Nitanunua. Na 10,000 si umenunua. Surprising ukifika nyumbani ashatoa miguu. Na unamuuliza ni nini? Hapana, hata ile ya kina nani? Ile ya kina Marvin imetolewa iko supu. Si 10,000 imepita hivi. 10,000 imepita ama haijapita? Na next time simu nyingine itapita. So for those little ones, we love them. If they are that age when you can't negotiate, you know the 2-year-old, 3-year-old, au wachaga nyumbani. Waache nyumbani. Wanunulie vitu ufanye nini? Walete. Ukienda supermarket, watakufanyia aibu dogo. And you're going to spend money you don't have. Now, when you have another bigger age, you know you are 6, 7, 8, those ones you can reason, isn't it? Agree what has to be bought. Give them a reward for sticking to what is done. Can we deal with teenagers? Muna teenagers, munaona mimi nimetoka teenage. And I want to tell you, teenage are gifts from God. The world revolves around them. They are selfish and expensive. Hebu tuende tununue yogurt na teenager. What is their brand? Niambieni ukweli. What brand are they going to buy? Yogurt? Bio. Yes, you're right. How much is bio? 400 shillings. Na wewe ulikuja na budget ya derame ya 100. Mtu mmoja amekula ya watu? How do you deal? Na unajua wale ni wakali, eh? They don't throw a tantrum ya kujiangusha. Wale they keep quiet. Ni nini? Hakuna. Ati nini? Hakuna. So now you buy because you don't want to find a lot of trouble. Those, if you negotiate and you give them their money, you'll be surprised. They will buy what they want plus more. Tumedil na hiyo. Convenience store. Those of us who love the convenience, those of you who are driving, when you go to the fueling station, there's a store. I will tell you, everything is 30% more expensive. And you know why it is a convenience store? Your wallet is open. Mtoto akikuitisha kitu, huwezi mwambia sina pesa na zinaonekana. You know you don't want to be a false witness. Si anaziona. So huwezi mwambia sina pesa. Kwa hivyo unafanya nini? Unanunua. As much as you can avoid, buy fuel, the other things, buy them in the supermarket. Do you think we are being good stewards or are we bad stewards by doing those things? Are we being good stewards? Very good. If you are good stewards, we can look at one more. Very surprising. Don't go shopping when you are hungry. This is what psychologists have taught us. When you don't have anything in your tummy, your mind thinks everything is empty, everything is not there. So you start filling in the trolley. And I can tell you for sure, if you went to a supermarket when you're hungry and you just come through the door, the first thing that you notice is the smell of bread in the bakery. Na unajipeleka tu kwa bakery. Na si haukuwa kuja kununua hizo. And you actually, when you get there, you get confused. Kuna pizza, kuna cake, and zimewekwa light mpaka they look like they are saying nikule saa hii, niko tamu. And so you are tempted, now you buy a cake. Once you buy a cake and you hold it in your hand, your brain is very interesting. It tells you the cake is dry. Ebu just stand hapa nyuma. You're going to find sodas, juices, yogurt, hapa nyuma. So you pick. That is the day you buy half of your trolley is food. Yet that's not what you are looking for. That's not why you came. Never go shopping. And you know, my mother used to say the tummy is a fool. Ukijaza githeri, hata ikiona nyama iwaga iongei. Inanyamaza, si ndio? Ama your mother didn't tell you something like that? In your language, whichever it was put, isn't it? Yeah? So, if you go with your children shopping for anything when they are hungry, you will find yourself buying unnecessary expensive things. So, again, what are we doing? We want to save 1,000 here, 500 here, 200 here, so that we can be able to do a few of the other things. That's what it means to be good stewards. That's what we are trying to do. And we want to say, optimize on the market day. I know there's a market in Umoja. I just don't know where it is. Where's the market? Where we buy veggies. Soko hapa iko wapi? Ama hao watu si wa hapa. But there's a place where we buy vegetables, isn't it? Surprisingly, in every of those markets, there are a day or two when everything is cheaper because they tend to allow farmers in without charging them some levies. So things are always 40 or 50% cheaper. That's the day to buy your groceries and the things that you need. You will be able to make a big saving. So again, you're living in the same area, but you're able to make sure that you optimize on the market day. Now we've gotten to a point where instead of buying things slow, if you have the money, there are shops selling them in bulk. And when you buy in bulk, you can get 60% off, 40% off, and you make big savings. There are a couple of shops, especially in town, where you can do bulk buying. The day you meet as a chama, Madam, how many are you in your chama? How many? How many are you in the chama? 25. Can you imagine how many bales of tissue you end up buying individually? If you actually opted and you said on the day of the chama is the day you're going to pay for it, it can actually be delivered where the chama is meeting, and all of you will make a 40% saving. That's how this country is operating now. So don't be left out. Understand how the country is operating, and you're going to save. You are going to save the money. And there are many things that we can talk about in shopping, and I know we don't have the time. So Peter, now I know we don't have the time. Oops. Yes. Now the machine is trying to play other games. I'm suggesting that we have a menu at home. Ladies, can I tell you a secret now that we're in church? If you left these men on their own, they will eat nyama na ugali for life. Is it true or not true, sir? Yeah. The problem is when they turn 60 and they're about, watapata gout. And you're the one who's going to be carrying them. Do you want to carry them as you carry the babies? So make sure you feed them well. And feeding well means when you have a menu, now you can tell them, today we are going to eat beef, but tomorrow we can do beans. Beans is also proteins. And the other day we can do kamande. Kamande is also protein. We balance out. And we stop them eating red meat all the time, so there can be time for fish. And there will be time with no meat. What becomes surprising is you get a nutritional balance for the family, but you stop having a given wastage. Most of you ladies, I know there's a weekend when you open the fridge and you throw away a lot of food. Imebaki, now you don't like it. You throw it away, isn't it? The one you're throwing away, isn't that money? Why did it get there? Because on the day when you cooked, you did not put the whole equation together that the day you are going to make chapo, this guy is happy. But the day you make mshere, this guy is not happy. He just doesn't say it. Isn't it? The day you make githeri, the children will not eat it. So for you to have that balance, you have a menu so that you minimize the wastage. When you minimize the wastage, are we not going to have the money in saving? We'll have that money somewhere. So there are many things we can do, but I know we are almost running out of time, so I will actually not get into that. But I want you to be a good steward. As a good steward and as a Christian, avoid get-rich-quick schemes. It is not for us in betting and all those things. And I know our bishop has taught us those things. We have been told to eat from the blow of our sweat. If you're looking for all those things, by the way, majority of them, you're going to lose your money. You are going to lose your money, and sometimes you are going to end up in jail. Have you heard something called wash in this country? Have you ever had something called wash? At people, for any reason, you give somebody some 10,000 shillings and they make it 100. And now you get tempted. If they can do that for 100, what if I got 1 million? I'll get 10 million. And you bring your 10 million. You bring your sister. And the second day after you've given the money, machine in Arabika, they don't have langi, you need to bring another 300,000. They sort those issues. The day you bring that 300,000, utashikwa na police. And in the newspapers, when you change pesa, sio hao watu wengine. Everybody disappears, you are left alone. Bishop akipigiwa simu anashindwa, na huyo ni member wangu kweli? Those things will put you in prison. They will make you poor. You're going to lose your money. The formula for creating wealth is God-given. It's called the law of the farm. Prepare the ground and wait. When the rain comes, let the rain rain and wait. Then you put in your seeds and you wait for them to germinate. And when they germinate, you wait. When they're big enough, you weed them and you prune them. And one day you're going to harvest them. There is no day God's law allows you to plant now and harvest now. It doesn't work. And that's how investment has to be done. You're not going to put in 2 shillings on a number and you get 100,000. Somebody is fooling you somewhere. And we do not want Christians to be the ones to be fooled. We cannot be there. We cannot be in that area. Be a very good city caretaker. Take care of what you have. Those of you who are drivers, service the car when it's due. If you fail to service the car, one of those days you go to the garage, they tell you now we can't service. We need an engine overhaul. What's the cost of an engine relative to the cost of service? 10 times more? Yes. Take care of the things you have. It is important. Be a steady caretaker. Take care of your phone. Take care of the things you have so that you don't lose them. Avoid insurances that you don't need. We have a serious problem in this country, and I've worked in the insurance industry. When my cousin gets a job in insurance, nanunua kumsaidia. Akitoka na wachana nayo. When the other one now wants to get a job to sell bank accounts, unafungua. Then you forget. The bank account you forgot. The charges will actually swallow all the money you had, and now you start owing the bank. And one day the bank will actually get you listed on CRB. So if you want to help your relatives, don't help them by buying. Help them in another way. Maybe give them money for transport, but not buying and abandoning. When you buy and abandon, you're actually wasting family money. So it is important for you to understand. Buy what you need. The other thing I want to say, and now I'm saying in a hurry, take care of your tax returns. Times are tough. The taxman has opened his eyes. Be careful. File the returns and make sure they are filed professionally. Pay somebody to do it. And the somebody is not the guy at the cyber. Huyo jamaa wa cyber, na najua mwingine yako hapa, hakusoma taxation. So huyo ana file tu. After some time, then you realize you have problems. KRA is coming to you for more money. Why? Because of how you file. Can you, and there are enough accountants in this congregation. I bet they are trained accountants here. Use professionals to file your tax returns. It is very, very important. Because as you go on, you heard about Huduma number. And now they moved from Huduma number, they are going to say you're going to get a citizenship number. The information is going to be integrated. One day, you'll be stopped at the airport. Go back and pay your taxes. So before we get there, make sure we pay our taxes. And government has 7 different ways of you to reduce your personal taxation. 7 different ways of you to reduce the taxes you pay. And I know on the other days when we have a chance, we'll talk about those ones. I may not have the time to talk about that. So even as you file the taxes, can you look for ways and means to reduce the amount of tax that you pay? And so having said that, I think now we are good stewards. We have more things. Learn to live smart. Living smart says, don't reduce your quality of life. Reduce the amount of money you pay for that life. I am saying, eat the same food, but buy it on the market day because the price was less. I am saying, buy the same clothing, okay? But don't buy when you're in a hurry. Don't buy by impulse. Unajua ule mama wa kitenge ule unakuja kwa ofisi kwetu, ushamuona? You always pay 3 times more for that kitenge. Because anakuambia wewe lipa ngiri moja hizo utalipa pole pole. And by the way, you don't need that kitenge. Hebu angalia penye unaweka kitenge nyumbani. Zimeja, hujashonesha. So why are you buying another expensive one? Buy it when it is due. Living Smart says, learn to ask yourself 2 questions. All the time before you pay, ask 2 questions. Question number 1, do I need this? Do I need this? If your answer is no, then don't buy. You don't need it. If your answer is yes, ask yourself another question. Is this the best possible deal? Is this the best possible deal? If it is not the best possible deal, go look for the best possible deal. By asking those two questions, generally your cost of living comes down by 10%. It comes down by 10%. Now, Bishop, if I had 10% of my income, see, I can invest that. See, I have money for investment now, isn't it? Because mtoto wetu si ataenda Harvard. Na sisi tutaretire. And we are going to have a house to live in. So these are the many things, and I can be able to, we can talk about many of these things. We don't have the time now, but I think now you have an idea how to be able to get these things working for you. So this is what I wanted to share, so that now, well, the computer is not playing games. So that the money we have, the money that you're going to have, now you can go and invest it. And there are various places where we can do the investment, okay? We don't have the time, but I'll tell you broadly, there are 5 areas for investment, very, very broadly. Number 1, invest in yourself. Learn to invest in yourself. Learn to make yourself better. Ask yourself, what is this if I learned? I can actually be able to earn more. If you're a junior accountant in the office, study your CPA, you become the chief accountant, they'll pay you more. If you're a junior officer in the company, study that master's degree, and they will actually pay you more. Even if you're in business, study that business area better. You're going to become a better business person than the other. If you're in the part of the people who make presentations like me, go for a public speaking course. It is going to make you better. As you do that, build your networks. Who are the people you hang around with? I love people who hang around with people in the church. Because the people in the church are always going to be positive. If you're hanging with people huko, utavutwa huko. Your net worth is the value of the people you hang out with, because that's where you're going to do. And that's why I always tell people, volunteer. Be in a committee in church. Get something you're doing. You are going to meet those people you are looking for, and they're going to give you free access to many open doors. And it is not the door. The person you're looking for is only 7 people away from you. I don't know who you're looking for. Anybody looking for the governor of the city? I'll tell you, he's only 7 people away from you. Just that you do not know who the 7 are. And might be one of those 7 is here. Because there might be somebody who knows the cousin of the cousin. Ama hiyo sio njia? If you know the cousin of the cousin, si tunakaribia. Because tukifika kwa cousin, sasa tunaweza letwa kwa wife. Sasa tumefika ama tujafika? It is very important. Now, the second area of investment, they are called pools of accumulation. Pools of accumulation. Places where you invest with other people. Where you're going to invest little pools of accumulation. You put in little money over time together with others. Pesa kidogo kidogo over time. This is what we do in the circle. So if you're not in the circle, I want to urge you, join the circle. If you're not in a chama, I want to urge you to join one, or an investment club. If you're not in a pension scheme, I want to urge you to come into a pension scheme. Put in money with other people, and your money is going to grow. Investment arena number 3, they're called money multipliers. Money multipliers. We will take the risk with the help of an expert, but our money is going to grow. This is why we find ourselves investing in shares. We can buy shares, and our money is going to grow. You can find ourselves doing forex trading, and I want to urge you to check out an investment called Mansa X. It's a very good investment for forex trading. This is where you learn how to lend government. Government, as we sit here tonight, government is looking for 60 billion shillings from us. And they are guaranteeing you 13% return for 17 years. Those are called money multipliers. Yes, madam. Treasury bills and treasury bonds, that's how you loan to the government. Okay? And in a bond now, government is looking for 60 billion shillings. They are guaranteeing 13% return for 17 years. Okay? That's why I'm saying we need an expert to take us to that space. We need an expert to take us to unit trusts. That's the third area. The fourth area generally is called real estate. Real estate. I know the one widely known in kununua plot. It is not the only one. Kununua plot is okay. Lakini sasa tumenunua Kenya karibu iishe. Ukienda Isiolo watu wananunua 50 by 50. Ukienda Rumuruti watu wananunua 50 by 50. Isn't it? Hizo tumenunua kweli kweli. But while we are here in town, people are doing B&B. That's real estate. The house is not yours. Even joint ventures, yes. Okay? So people are doing what? Offshore, not offshore. The one where you put in money as they are building. Off plan, thank you, my brother. Kizungu inapoteaga, eh? Off plan. In my area, I live in the western side of the city. Okay? Kwetu, sasa we realized housing is a problem. And I'm going to show you an example here. We are actually joining together tunakuwa landlord. Watu wengi. Kama wewe una 300,000, wewe unakuja tu. Tunakuwa wengi. We own a place, flat kama hiyo, wewe yako ni room moja. Mwingine anaweza floor mzima, lakini tumejenga yote. You see? Yeah, you can have some small space and you put your containers. Watu wengine wakuje waingie kwa containers, si ndio? So there are very many places. Some people doing hostels for students. Okay? This is what we are talking in real estate. And the last one is business. Biashara. Buying and selling. Buying and selling. That's biashara. And you can be online or you can be offline. You can be online or you can be offline. So as I finish, let me tell you, the support system. For you to be able to manage, you will start with the family level. Whether you want to do savings, whatever you want to do, your success is within the family level. Don't hope to do it alone. Bring in your little children, mothers, your little children and fathers, the ones who are young, 4 years, 3 years. Please, can we buy them a piggy bank? We are going to put in coins there with a prayer. We need to show them that this money comes from God. We need to put the money in there with a prayer. Please, no matter how things happen, don't break that box without them. Usikuje siku moja ukavuja. You're going to vunja their trust. Are we there? Yes. So family is very important. Don't work without the family. We want to see how your phone can be of help. You can do your phone, lock account. And so every day you can decide, nitaweka 50 shillings kwa lock account. And you'll be surprised, you'll find over time you have a lot of money in your lock account. So it is an important area for you to do. Now, your employer. If you want to do saving and you have an employer, do something called check-off. Salary deduction at source. Mwambie kila mwezi kata hii pesa tuma kwa sako. It will happen. It will not fail. Why? Because sasa hiyo sio kazi yako. Hiyo ni kazi ya mtu wa payroll. And it's going to happen. It will cost you nothing. But it will make it possible for you. And by the way, the good thing is the money is deducted before you touch it. Hujaiona, so you don't miss it. You only miss what you've seen. So it is very important you think about the employer. Now, the other person that's going to help us is your bank. If you don't have an employer, don't worry. Your bank can take instructions. You can give it standing instructions. At this time, every month, get so much money from this and send it here. And the bank is going to do it all the time as long as there's money. So your bank is your friend as you're trying to make sure that things work for you. Now, the other one you're going to do is your peers. That's why we join the chama. You heard me say join the chama. And the ladies will tell you, a chama is good. Whether it's a merry-go-round, it gets you to save. Because you do not want the day ya kuchanga you don't have. Your pressure, it works on you. Hey, majama, men, hapa tuko nyuma. Tumewezwa. We need to organize chama ya wazee. Sisi hapa tuko nyuma sana. But we need to be helped by each other. We need to get there. That's why you do an investment club. The community. Become part of the community. If you go online, we have 52 Week Savers Challenge community. It's a community who save for 52 weeks. And if you start with 50,000 shillings and you follow that procedure, you finish the year at 67,000 shillings. If you start with 100 shillings, you end the year with 138,000 shillings. Because you are part of the community, they encourage you. They don't take your money, but you get a weekly encouragement. We have one that we've created. It's called Wealth Seekers Kenya, and we are trying to make sure that we get everybody to do their work every month. This is our tradition. People wonder, why can't I do it alone? But Bishop will tell you, we are Africans, and Africa is our business. We are people who are united. We are not people who are separated. We work together. It's our tradition, and that's why we want to encourage you to stay within our tradition. Be careful where you borrow the money, and I want to give you a minute to see what's happening to your money. Can you see the interest rate they are charging you? Are you seeing those numbers? Do you see somebody charging people 621%? You are paying 6 times the money you borrowed. Sometimes they don't tell you the whole story. And that's why a lot of us have been trapped. I do debt counseling sometimes. And last week I had somebody who had 12 apps on their phone. And now they are in deep trouble because they are only borrowing from this app to pay this one. And after some time, borrow from this one to pay this one. That's not a life. That's not stewardship. Be careful. I tell people this is one of the reasons why I tell you, join the circle. The worst the circle will charge you is 12%. Nothing more, nothing less. So why do you want to pay 270%? Because nobody is seeing you borrow. You borrow in your phone when you're alone. They don't even ask to see you. You don't sign any word. But you pay that with the cost of credit. So this is an important subject, and I see a lot of people make problems. That's why, Bishop, we have slightly over 11 million people on CRB. This is the biggest thing that's pushing us there. You have a question? This is per year, annual percentage rate, APR. The problem is when they are giving you, they give you per day, 1% per day. And sounds very nice. But if you don't pay that 1% per day, by the time the year is over, that's slightly over 370%. They give you 10% per month. The Shylock just says 30%. He doesn't even say how long. Then it's 30% per month. By the time the year is over, you paid 400%. So this is something we need to be careful. We should not be fooled. My people perish. You are informed. Don't allow yourself to perish. This one we talked about, so I will jump over that. There are 2 ways of investing. You can be the one investing the money yourself if you are an expert. I am the shopkeeper, and I invest my money in my shop. Isn't it? Alternatively, you can actually go and invest your money where other people are going to do it for you. As professionals working, as people in different, even businesses, we always say diversify your investments. While you are running some money on your own, keep some money with somebody else. I will see a lot of painful things happen in my country. A market burns, Gikomba, Toy. And the following morning on media, people say we lost the whole 20 million. Please don't keep 20 million in one place. Can you afford to take 5 million out of that and keep it somewhere else? So that should things go wrong, the 15 is gone, the 5 is still available. Very, very important. That's why we want to go into passive investments so that we can look at that. I talked about real estate, so I'll go very fast. I promised I'll show you what people are doing. Okay. Now, I told you I live in the western side of this town. We have a highway called Wayakiwe, and there are buses coming into town every day. And what we have learned from research, kuna mtu anakujaga na bus na hata toka Nairobi. So the people who come to Nairobi need somewhere to live, isn't it? And that's why in Nairobi, ukijenga nyumba ya mabati, utapata wateja. True? Ukijenga ya bao, ukijenga ya mawe, ukijenga ya madongo poromoka pia utapata wateja. You know madongo poromoka? Nyumba ya matope. You still get tenants. And there is a big demand for housing. The Ministry of Housing says we need to be building 250,000 units every year. But it's not practical. Government is trying. They are doing 60,000 now. Okay? The balance is for the private sector to sort out. And people in the world where I come from, the western side of this city, Kangemi, Kawangware, Riruta, they have found a way of dealing with it. Nani ashaiona nyumba ya mabati ya gorofa? Mshaiona nyumba ya mabati ya gorofa? Mnaziona? Yeah. Na huyo jamaa amejenga hajanunua hiyo land. Because mwenye land ndio huyu. You see the way the land is shaggy. This guy has been trying to grow napier grass, apate pesa, hakuna pesa ya napier grass, hakuna nini. So people have learned to lease the land to somebody else. And when they lease the land, the people who do the construction are super. I went to school and I learned many things. I remember a Japanese concept called just in time. These guys know it. Roli ya mbao ikikuja, they don't remove the mbao. They remove one piece, inakatwa inapigwa. They remove the next piece, inakatwa inapigwa. In 3 weeks, hii nyumba imesimama. Kila kitu, complete in 3 weeks. January ikianza hukuwa landlord, January ikiisha wewe ni landlord. Na unaona wateja kwanza wakipatikana wanaingia, bado tunaendelea kujenga. Si ndio? Tunaijenga haraka. We are providing citizens what they don't have. In the poorer neighborhoods, people don't have bathrooms. They don't have toilets. Here you provide them. Na hakuna kutafuta wateja wa kulipe pesa, lipa na M-Pesa. Everybody understands. Hata rent unaweza chukua na M-Pesa. Yes, you don't struggle looking for the tenants every now and then. So this is what is happening. Oh, computer inakataa kufanya kazi. See the way you build them a nice staircase ya kwenda juu, sio kufinyana, wacha kufinya wananchi. Watangezee staircase mzuri wapate kwenda wapi? Waende juu, wacha kuwafinya, wacha wakae vizuri. Na wakifika juu, umewatengenezea vizuri. There's a nice place to wear their clothing. Na kuna perimeter fence. Munaona zile ziko kule mbele ziko smart. Hapa ni Kangemi. A perimeter, it's a perimeter. Nguo zao hazitaibiwa zikiwa kwa hanging line. Isn't it? You're providing them something. But you can see the other beautiful ones on that side. And the reason why they want to come and live in this place, hakuna matope. Kuko na screen. Kuko na space ya watoto kucheza. Na wale wamekuja na deposit, munajenga. Hiyo ingine mutajenga polepole, wakiishi. Isn't it? Yeah. You build, you're providing a solution to humanity. Okay? Yeah, you're building smart. Na sasa imeenda, can you imagine imefika hapo? Niliwaambia hii sasa wametoka kwa mabati wamekuja hii because this is what people are looking for. Okay? Na hii si ya mtu mmoja, hapana. Na hiyo land si yao. This is an arrangement of how this is done. So you can actually see, because when people leave college, all they are looking for is a nice place to live in. A nice bed sitter. You have your own kitchen, you have your own toilet, you have a nice place to wear your clothing. But that's it. And you pay the rent that you pay and you live on. And so how does it work? People are wondering, how does it work? You lease the land. Kama unataka kujenga mabati peke yake, that's 10 years. After 10 years, uache hiyo mabati imesimama, wewe uende. If you want to do hybrid, mawe chini, mabati juu, you're going to get 15 years. If you want to do mawe complete, that's a whole 20 years. After 20 years, wewe ufanye nini? Wewe uondoke. Wachie mwenyewe nyumba. Okay? So those are the many options that are available. You pay them for their space, unalipa rent. For a quarter acre now, they're charging about 50 to 100,000. In that one quarter, watu wamejenga 110 units na wanalipisha rent tu ile ya kawaida 3,500. Hiyo ndio rent ya slum, si ndio? So you can actually see that's how much money you have. Tukijenga nyumba za mawe for sure, and I know there are landlords here, ndio tupate hiyo pesa. Si tutabidi tumejenga nyumba mingi sana za mawe. Isn't it? Okay? So now when we have our 385, what are we going to do? We are going to pay government tax, 10%. We are going to pay the ground rent to the owner. We are going to pay our caretaker, and we do some repairs. And we have a net of 270,000 to take home every month. Hiyo ni mbaya ama ni mzuri? Is it bad money? Yeah, it's good money, isn't it? Yes. And so that's how it works. And this was done by 2 young men. I want to show you how they worked. 3 years back, they needed 4 million. They didn't have it. Young, one was 30, the other one was 28, two of them. And they said, okay, this is what we are going to do. We are going to join the circle. You save $500,000, I save $500,000. You go and borrow 2 million, I borrow 2 million, we have 4 million, we get the job done. Now, it took them 2 years to save, okay? And once you build, it took them another 2 years to pay the loan. And they have that ground for 12 years. So they have another 10 years to do what? To make the money. Is it a bad deal or is it a good deal? Yeah, good deal. That's how this country is working. So if you want to invest, you don't have to go become investment groups. I think I talked about chamas, isn't it? SACCOs, I talked about SACCOs. This one I'm a bit cautious. Wanajua watu wa Bitcoin last year mmepoteza pesa mingi, hamtaki mtu anarudia. This is the place you go na ile pesa ikipotea maisha itaendelea. Have you ever heard about pesa kama hiyo? Kuna pesa hata ikipotea maisha itafanya nini? Itaendelea. It's called speculation. If you go speculation, don't take only family savings because that's going to be a problem. Somebody mentioned bonds and fixed deposits. So those are all different options. You can do active investments. You can do investments your own way. That's another big area. We have a lot of demand for agricultural products. And I like sharing this because it's a personal story. I hope you're going to relate to it. Let me see if I can share this personal story. This country has a challenge. The reason why you're seated on plastic seats is because we don't have wood. And if this leadership in church go buy wood, it's going to be very expensive. Furniture in this country is coming from China and Turkey. Building wood is coming from DRC, and that's why you're using metal bars and aluminum, because we don't have wood. In the meanwhile, we need charcoal, and you know how expensive charcoal has become? We need firewood, we need timber, and all those things. And we don't have enough forests. The responsibility is on us as citizens to grow trees. And so one time, a couple of years back, I went to the village. And Mama said, that tree is messing up my land. I need it to be cut away. If Mama says you do something, what do? You just do it. Yeah, one question, who's got a parcel in our village? And I'm told the name, and I call the guy. As the guy is coming, I say, okay, how much is he going to charge me? And I say to myself, if he charges me 5,000, I'll pay him. If he charges me more than 5,000, I will not pay him. I'll call my guy from Nairobi, si atakuja number 3, na turudi na yeye. And imulipe yake, so 5,000 is enough. But when the guy came, I changed the story. I said to him, how much will you buy this tree for? He went around it. Do you know what he offered me? 45,000. And momentarily my brain almost froze. Because I was ready to pay 5,000 and I've been offered 45. I said, okay, lipa 50 tumalize your story. He said in the hour. But you know, as they were cutting this tree, I was getting pained. Nilikuwa nasikia uchungu. Knowing that this tree, we planted them when we were in school. My father would always say every holiday, plant a tree. We watered them. Then we left them for God to water them. Isn't it? Now, and over the years it has grown. This is one. Suppose there were 10. How much money would my mother made? One day is 50,000. 10? 500,000, isn't it? 100? Should have become a millionaire, isn't it? And you know, I felt the moment you feel a bit not yourself, I remembered I have a piece of land. I've always had it. I always go there, naiangalia, naikanyanga. I come and quarrel my neighbors, nani alikata hii, nani alifanya hii. Ama nyinyi mfanyagi hivyo? Then you come back to the city, isn't it? I said, hiyo ujinga tutaleta mwisho, The land gets cleared. Then my head says, but you are not here. How are you going to work when you're not here? Oh, it's good to do partnership. Mejenga kanyumba kadogo, umeenda kwa chief, mwambie chief, nataka mahali ya kuishi, nipatie mahali ya ishi. Si chief atakutafutia? Na huyu mtu amekuja nimemwambia lakini siwezi kukupatia mahali ya kuishi. I understand the law of this country. If you give somebody land for free, akalie 10 years, 8 years, utamugawia. So ndio ni soti hiyo nikamwambia atalipa rent. Rent yake ni 50 shillings per year. Kwa si rent nilikuwa natafuta. Lakini now I have a partner, isn't it? Because you can't do it alone, You need a partner. So what do we do? I'm growing the tree, he's growing the base. See, that's a good partnership. Nani atapalilia? Nani atachunga busi zikuje? Because mimi niko Umoja, sasa siwezi kuwa nikichunga busi. Sasa ni kazi yake akae huko, isn't it? Na partnership yetu inafanya kazi, inaendelea. So within some time, can you see how good it looks? It's harmonious. His project is working, my project is also working. After some time, his project can't work. Mine are bigger, isn't it? And they never stop. They get bigger and bigger. They go on. 1 year down the line. Can you see how they are? Eucalyptus grows very fast where there's rain. And somewhere, I go to Nairobi show and they tell me about bees. Being a crazy Kenyan, you try. Yeah. And I put in the bees, and the bees are doing a job. So while I'm here, the bees are working very well. But my friend, I don't want him to go away. So akinunua mbuzi mbili, mimi nanunua, because over holidays, he can help to sell his mbuzi. So the partnership works all the time. And so here we are. The trees are grown. Here, me and my partner. Can you see? That was phase 1. This is phase 2 on this side. The trees are growing very nicely. Bees are working also. And Abigail designs for me a very good logo. Doesn't it look a serious logo? Yes. And selling honey is not a big problem. So it's easier to sell honey. Now we've advanced. I think we are the only ones in the country able to make concrete hives. So if you have a problem with honey badger, people are stealing your hives, when you want a bada kazi. I'll show you how we can get concrete hives. This is very healthy. We want to stop people from taking sugars so that they can take something healthy. Those were the number of trees planted per acre. It cost us 30 bob for each seedling. For the seedling, could dig the shimo, kuweka manure, na kuchunga for a whole year. We got somebody doing that for us. We are hoping we'll be able to mature 900 of them, because some will be stolen, some will die. And if we sell them in 10 years for 5,000, we don't have to wait like my mother. Siyo ni pesa mzuri. How does that look? Mmekaa kama retire. Sindi retirement money. While we are busy here, tunasongesha Nairobi nasonga mbele, but we are taking care of the environment, isn't it? Yeah. And I know you have that piece of land, Ushago. You've always been wondering what to do with it. I tell you, there's an opportunity. You can do eucalyptus if you're not next to the river. If you come from an area where they do avocado, you can do avocado, isn't it? If you come from an area where you do bamboo, you can do bamboo. And there are very many other options that you can actually be able to do. I saw a fruit last week. It's called a dragon fruit. It sells for 500 shillings each one. And I'm told the tree can actually give you a good number per year. And you have that small piece of land that you've always had. Can I recommend to you, you do something about it? And I've got people who do this work. Me, I don't understand trees. So I've got a gentleman, Kinga. That is his specialty. So if I want any issue, I talk to him. I have a guy called Baraza. Him and bees are friends. So he can go and harvest the honey. He can take care of the hives so that you don't get stung. So you're working with other people so that it works. As you invest, you can obviously always work with other people. Mr. President says he has a plan. Do you have a plan for the family? This is what I'm asking this afternoon. Do we have a plan? I want you to have a plan for? Si wewe ni kiongozi? Ama wamefika kama pastor alikuwa anaitwa Kora. Kora ule aliambia Moses, kwani ni wewe Moses. Kwani ni wewe tu unaambia kwa hii story? Hamjafika hapo na family. Si bado wanasikiza. You need to have a plan for them. And so when you have a plan, you become a better steward because you'll be able to take care of every shilling that comes your way. You'll be able to take care of every 1 shilling that comes away. And there is no small shilling and big shilling. You cannot have 10 shillings without 1 shilling. Can you have 100 without 1? Can you have 1,000 without 1? Let me tell you something interesting. The difference between 10 shillings and 100 shillings is a 0. Just like my maths teacher said, that's a significant 0. So ideally, if you cannot take care of 1,000, can you take care of 1,000,000? So there's nothing like the retro money. But I know there's a problem in this country. We seem not to have regard for retro money. Tuseme ukweli. Pale kwa hiyo barabara yetu ya kuja kanisa, ukiona 10 shillings imeanguka chini, utainama uchukue. Tuseme ukweli tu. Ni nani atainama? Mtakuwa wachache nyinyi watu wa kuinama. Majority yetu tutaiona na tuendelee. Isn't it? Because we do not have regard for the retro shilling. But you cannot have the big money without the retro shilling. So I want to urge you to take care of that. If you want to start investing and you've not been doing savings, I want to encourage you, starting tonight, ile change tu iko kwa mfuko, save hiyo. Tutoke kwa change, then we keep on going and involve the family, and you're going to see how successful you're going to do in doing that saving. So things will be able to work for you. So I think I want to finish here now. And I know I have not said everything, but I've said something. And I'm hoping what I have said is going to be useful. So I like stopping by telling people, lazima tumejuana tufanye nini? Biashara. Biashara means when you leave here this evening, there must be something you have heard that you must go and do. I don't know what it is. See, when we were naming body parts, wengine waliname 3, wengine 10, isn't it? So I don't know what you have heard. But I would not want it to be like, since you came, you're just going to live the way you came. There must be 1 or 2 things that you're going to do. I don't know what it is. For those of us who have got a good book, can I give you half a minute to indicate just one thing you're going to do? Just one. Just one. Wale wana simu tunaweza andika. Wale hawana simu na hawana kitabu tuandike kwa roho tu. Tutakumbuka. Just one thing you say to yourself, this one I'm going to do. I don't know what it is. Very good. We are not going to ask you what you wrote. Si hiyo ni yako. Si tulisema pesa ni personal and private. So hatutakuuliza. But I have a few things I urge people to do. If you want to become part of a community, I want to encourage you to join that community online. The community I created early this year. And we want to grow together and invest together. So if you're on Facebook, that's a community you can join. Very easy to join that community so that then we can be able to do things together. So joining that community will be helpful. We can be able to do things together. The other thing I want to urge, a nice starting point a lot of times, is for us to get into the habit of reading. Reading. And I want to encourage families to read financial books together. I want you to read financial books together. And if you want to get a free book, I am happy to give you these 2. All you need to do is to drop an email to that address. And somebody will be addressing it for you tomorrow. They'll send you an electronic copy. So you can write that email and write the book that you want. Somebody will be happy to give you. I know they are not very Kenyan. Somebody might tell me they are not Christian, but I think they have the foundations that are necessary. This one called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I always say to people, if I had my own way, it should be taught in grade 6. Because a lot of times the challenge we have is that there are many things we don't know. This other one is very interesting. Was done way back, I think in 1929, but it's got basics that are very important. If you want to save, it has the steps that you can follow. Now, the other one I want to encourage, this is a Christian book and deals with this concept of faith, wealth, and money. I'm not able to give you this, but I would want to encourage you to buy this from TuneIn. TuneIn is in Haringam, it's a bookshop. But you can get your copy, or Keswick. They can get you a copy. And it discusses a lot of financial issues from a Christian perspective. It is in this book that I actually found that principle that God's friends are all wealthy because God wanted them to be. He did not want them to suffer from want. So he provided for them. And so if you have had those issues, you know we always told it's easier for the camel to go through the eye of the needle than the rich man to do what? To enter the kingdom of heaven, isn't it? You need somebody who can help you, walk you through that so that you understand it. Because God wants us to have prosperity. So that's an important book that I want to urge you. Now, I have one I have written, and I have written from a Christian perspective. I always tell people, even when I go to non-Christian nations, I don't shy from my faith. I have no business shying from my faith. So Nixon at the back has a few copies. Nixon, you want to hold one in there? Yeah. He has a few copies. So as you leave, you can obviously see him. If you are not prepared, if you take that email address, this is an online store. You can order the book. They will deliver it to you wherever you are. It's an online store where you can be able to order the book. I know there are people who are here who are feeling the desire and the need to learn more. And I want to tell you, we run a training program Other than talks like this, we give intense training. We have a 40-hour training program that's done over a 10-week period, and we do it virtually. So you don't have to leave your house. We do it in the evening between 7 and 9. And the thing is, we don't like people struggling to understand what it is. So we have a concept called come and see. I think we borrowed that from the Bible. Come and see. Which means you just get invited, stay in for 2 hours. If you think it's something good for you, we'll tell you how you join. If you think it is not for you, no problem. You can leave it. Si ushaienda Bama market? Nani ashaienda Bama? Si unapewa nyama kwa mlango? Kama uoni ni tamu, si unaachana na huyo? Same concept. But I want to encourage you, this coming week on Tuesday, we're actually going to discuss how you can use other people's money to develop yourself. It's called debt management. That will be the discussion. So if you want to come into that training, there's a website up there. You can register. Other than that website, we have some cards. Nixon has a card. Nixon, the white cards. Yeah, you can give us a contact there so that the admin team can be able to invite you. As you leave, you can give us your contact. The admin team will be able to invite you so that you listen in to that class. Now, as we finish, I know you have written down the actions you want to take. I like people saying, yes, I listened for 1 hour, for 2 hours, but these are the things I'm going to start doing. This is a journey, and you can never say you have completed the journey.